you know, and this is taking action, because rods represent fire, which is all about action, courage, vitality, passion, you know, all the things that come along with fire. And I'm kind of seeing that you might be hesitant. Temperance in reverse says to me that there's something that feels unbalanced, or in the upright position, temperance is very serene, very balanced, very calm, composed. You know, there's a certain amount of groundedness to temperance. But in reverse, it's saying there's something that's throwing you off balance, something that doesn't feel solid. And I get the sense that with Knight of Wands looking at this King of Wands in reverse, I'm almost wondering if you feel like a novice compared to someone else. I'm really getting, don't compare yourself to someone else, Aquarius. It's going to hamper you from taking action, because it's making you nervous, or challenging your peace of mind about taking action, because you're comparing yourself to this expert. You know, if you look at Knight versus King of Rods, he's not confronting you directly. This is like the novice, this is the expert. And he's not saying, you know, come at me. He's not saying, I challenge you. He's looking in a different direction. He's like off doing his thing. And he might like be passionate about it. But you're fired up, but and I see that because Knight of Wands is all about, you know, courage, going for it, being daring, being cocky, even can be even being arrogant. But this is the person who has lots of courage. He's very commanding. He goes for it. Just don't throw yourself into a tizzy about taking action because you're comparing yourself to someone else who's gone before you, or who's like paved that road. You don't have to be the best expert in the world to take action. There's actually, on the other side of this, it is making your heart overflow. This is like a new beginning. If you can get past comparing yourself to someone who is more experienced, this is where love is. This is joy, creativity, passion. My cup runneth over. And because it's an ace, it's always a new beginning. And it's like having come to a point of enlightenment. This can be like an aha moment. Oh yeah, I don't have to be the best in the world in order to take action. Otherwise too, Aquarius, this could be a young fire sign and an older fire sign. Fire signs being Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. In this case, it's saying that there might be a younger fire sign that is causing some sort of rift with the older fire sign, or that you're having a hard time choosing between a younger and an older person, but you ultimately end up with your heart overflowing. The sense I get is because the first one that came to me was that it really is about you comparing yourself to someone more experienced. That's the sense I get. So push through that, and there's Ace of Cups on the other side of that. So new beginning, new joy, new creativity, new passion. Don't hold yourself to a standard of, this could even be like a father figure I'm kind of getting for you. Don't hold yourself to a standard of like the father who's absent, the father who's no longer there, or a boss, or some sort of elder, maybe a landlord, maybe a uncle, grandfather, any kind of person who's a male figure in an authority position. That's not your standard, Aquarius. You don't have to conform to that, because they're in reverse. They're looking towards the same goal for you, but I kind of get the sense that you see them in the way of that goal. So you need to jump over this. And it's causing you anxiety. It's causing you to not want to compromise. You know, this card's about finding integration, finding compromise, finding balance, finding serenity. It's really tripping your gears, Aquarius, to be considering your relationship to this King of Wands person I'm seeing in comparison. So jump over that and get to the Ace of Cups. Begin following what fills your heart. Begin following what brings you this peace. I mean, both of these cards, look at the wings in those. They're both cards of peace. Don't sacrifice your peace, Aquarius, by comparisons or comparing yourself to someone who has more experience. It's not you have a different thing to bring to it. So that's what I'm going to say. Don't jeopardize your peace. It's waiting for you here. You just have to get past comparing yourself to this King of Wands person. And these people are very bold, very eccentric. You know, this is a card of Mozart and of Walt Disney. Those were both King of Wands people. They're usually pretty knowledgeable, and they're pretty dynamic. So don't feel like you have to be them in order to get here. You don't. You have to jump over that. Let go of those comparisons. In mid-month, you've got some Cups energy. Look at these here. Also echoing this. And then you also look at the crescent moons here. This is intuition. And it's saying that you need to trust your intuition in making decisions, but you're not necessarily trusting your gut, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. So I'm going to just go through each of these really quick. Four of Cups is missing out on opportunity. Four of Cups in reverse is missing out on opportunities because you're too caught up in what exists and what is current to see this cup that wants to be handed to you. It's funny because it's actually this cup that is the same one. See how this hand, you know, within the clouds, this divine hand is wanting to hand you this thing that fills your heart. It's wanting you to receive something that's going to fill you with joy. A message that I'm getting from this is that here's your opportunity to begin something new that you love. Don't let it drain out. That's this cup draining out here. Don't lose sight of it by being overly focused on what is. This can be a card of boredom, of aloofness, of routine, feeling like, okay, here's the same three cups I've always seen. I'm just going to let the weeds grow around me. I'm just checking out. I just don't care anymore. Don't let that happen. Don't lose the passionate energy and joy from this card by getting caught up in what always is in routine. You know, drink from this cup, Aquarius. Drink from this cup of joy, of passion, of my heart runneth over. This is really connecting with emotions. And that can be hard for Aquarians because you are an air sign, which is about the mind. So you can really live in your mind sometimes. So I'm going to encourage you to connect with your heart. Don't let all that good stuff spill out because you're just too preoccupied with, you know, this is boring, this is routine, it's always going to be like this. Connect with this joyful, fun, beautiful Ace of Cups energy. It wants to come to you. Don't block it is what I'm seeing with this. Don't resist it. Don't say, oh no, I can't have that. I've got to just grind it out. I've got to just always have things how they always have been. Make room for Ace of Cups energy. It's gonna be handed to you, but you have to make room for it. You have to allow it in. You can't, if you retreat back into how things always were, that's what you're gonna get. This is all gonna drain out. So that's January, opening of January for you. And then decision making. I'm going to encourage you mid-month, Aquarius, to trust your intuition regarding decision making. These two cards together are about trusting your gut. Chariot is about accomplishing something, crossing a finish line. It's a balance between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. It is someone who has a vision and a goal and he sticks to it. This card is called hard control, and it means like steering things, directing things, dominating things, making it go a certain way because you want to cross that finish line. You have this goal in mind. And he in some decks, This is shown with no harness reins, that he makes decisions with his mind based on his gut and his intuition. He balances left brain, right brain. He knows whether to go left or right just by trusting his instincts. And High Priestess here too relies upon her inner knowing. She's connected with the subconscious world. That's a theme that's happening in both of these, both this crescent moon. They've both got two of them here. And then also the dark horse represents the subconscious mind. The light horse represents the conscious mind. So this is an integration of the two. And this is a reliance upon things that you know from your senses that your conscious mind may not process. What I'm getting from this is that you may be steering too much in the direction of the white horse. You may be trying to use your mind with hard control, steering that chariot with the intellect. Rather, you're throwing High Priestess in reverse. Rather than having a balance between gut instinct and mind, you're letting mind run away with the show. And you may veer off away from your goal. According to that, this is saying, you have to have a balance. If you become so left brain and you try to block out all this right brain stuff, all this access to internal knowledge, the sense I'm getting with these two cards, Aquarius, is that the mind is a wonderful tool or wonderful servant, but a horrible master. Because when you let one of these horses run away, it's like rowing a boat with one oar. You go in circles. Either one. You can go in circles by relying too much on your left brain, too much on your right brain. Too much on the left brain gives you those like scientist types that need hard factual evidence. There's no room for faith. There's no room for mystery. There's no room for anything except cold, hard science, fact, determinism. It's very hard and cold. On the other side, too much reliance on the dark horse gives us irrationality. Too much mystery. Can be like insanity. Even it can go off into the deep, dark things of the world. This is connecting with the shadow. So there needs to be a balance. And with High Priestess in reverse here, Aquarius, I'm seeing you're not allowing the subconscious to come in. You're resisting it and blocking it. And so I'm going to encourage you, where there's balance, where you make good decisions, how the chariot crosses the finish line is through allowing balance between the left brain and the right brain, through the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. You have to let her in. She's got a lot of knowledge for you. You just have to trust your gut feeling. When she comes up, trust your inner knowing. Whether you can explain it left brain or not, there's something that you know on an intrinsic, internal level that you're trying to say, I'm trying not to hear that. But it's going to send you off course if you don't listen to it. So that's mid-January for you, Aquarius. And then I'm guessing it has to do with something to do with love. Because here is Knight of Cups that's being put just as much in resistance with this High Priestess. There's something instinctual that you need to listen to regarding your heart. This is a message of the heart, and you can see it's armored here, but it has the wings of Hermes, which is the messenger. Your heart's trying to tell you something, Aquarius, mid-month, but you're blocking it. You're like, nope, don't want to hear that. So let High Priestess energy in. That's connecting with your inner self, connecting with your inner knowledge, connecting with your gut instincts. Because we all pick up on information in our senses that we may not be able to process through language, we may not be able to process through rational thought, but it's still information. That's the scroll that she has on her lap. And you still contain it. You still have it, whether it's processable or not. It's sort of like a bunch of data that is coming over the airwaves. On a deep level, even though your brain may not be able to process it, your subconscious mind may be able to, or the unconscious, but you have to let it through. You have to trust. That's where gut feelings come in. Our body may know something that our mind can't process. Like when you get when you get that feeling of, say, fear or excitement or primal feelings that sort of bypass the mind, I see it as like that the animal mind or the basal mind. I forget what they call it. I don't know if it's the reptilian mind or amygdala, or I'm not sure what it is, but where it bypasses all the frontal cortex stuff. You don't have time to do all this sort of like hashing out and analysis. It's just like, based on what your senses are picking up. So let that in, trust that. Otherwise, you have an unbalanced cart here. You may not actually drive straight without it. And especially regarding matters of the heart, you're going to have to really rely upon your gut instinct to make good decisions, to allow that message through. And then towards the end of the month, you have some figures of authority here that are going to be changing. There's a changing of the guard, is what I'm getting here. This is Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So Wheel of Fortune is about time evolving. It's about the hand of time here that just, changes the seasons. It's the changing of time. What was on the top will be on the bottom. What was on the bottom will be on the top. It's the tables turning. It is, it's just the cycle of life. And it's the cycle of time evolving things naturally. When it's in reverse, there's some sort of resistance to the natural evolution of time, whether that's saying you want things faster or you're resisting change. There's something where you're not letting time just unfold as it wants to. And this because it's got all this royal court energy here at the top, and it's switching around. The sense that I'm getting is that these folks here, the Queen of Coins and Hierophant, who are court cards, he's actually a major arcana, but because he's associated with Empress and Emperor, he's the social aspect of those. These are, and because they're also in reverse, there's some sort of change happening in terms of either your faith or traditionalism. Conventionality is blocked right now. Queen of Coins is practicality. Both of these are pretty traditional, stable, conventional cards. So there's some sort of unconventionality, which is a word that you Aquarians are pretty comfortable with. You are probably one of the most unconventional signs of the whole zodiac. There's something that's being resisted, though. Letting go of something that's conventional. There's some way in which there's change happening. Now, this may be some traditions that you've had or ways that you did things in a traditional way. It's a resistance with these in reverse, doubt, fear, resistance to letting things change regarding conventionality, regarding traditionalism. I'm not sure how that's going to translate for each one of you Aquarians, but there's some way in which the change is afoot, and maybe you don't like it. Maybe you're resistant towards it, or that maybe you want it faster than it's coming. But there is a changing of the guard here. There is a way in which these guys are toppling off. They're toppling away. This is conventionality, traditionalism. This is practicality. They're very similar in theme. This usually has to do more with money. This has more to do with society and spirituality, but they're both like, this is what you should do. This is how one does a thing. They're both planners, sort of. They both they're both structured, grounded individuals. They both are connected. This is like Taurus guided. So is this one. Connected with tangible things. It's interesting too. One thing I'm noticing is this collar around their neck, which is, again, an echo of this crescent moon that's showing up here, it's showing up here, it's showing up here, and it's showing up here, which again says to me, trust your instincts, trust the subconscious. If you're getting a gut feeling about something, I want you to trust that, Aquarius, because it's showing up. You're resisting it in many ways because it's challenging your sense of conventionality and sense of traditionalism, but times they're a changing. You know, change is afoot. Don't resist it. Don't deny it. And then this is Knight of Swords. This is an air sign, so this could be Gemini, Libra, or this could be you, Aquarius. And it could be that this could be you going off on your own after this all happens. If you'll see here, the Queen and Hierophant, who are the high authorities, are going to be toppled off. And then this is like you going your merry way. This is you taking your own power. This is confidence and courage. Knight of Swords has a great intellect and is able to cut through with his sword using his mind. He's very knowledgeable and he's very astute. Sometimes he can be too logical, like he can be cut off from his feelings. That's where I'm also getting this mirror image, where if you're too much about the mind, you can block heart energy. But as you tune into your subconscious stuff, that's going to help. As you tune into your gut feeling, bypass the mind. Remember, don't let the white horse be too much in charge. You're going to, claim your power back. And Knight of Swords is about experimentation. So trying things out, trying out new ideas. I still get that with this too. And you Aquarians are very usually comfortable with trying out new ideas. This is someone who has a conviction about something, has a thought, and follows it through. He has a belief that he's willing to run into burning buildings about. He's very clear on what he wants and very courageous in its application. So I like all the mind energy that's coming up for you for January, Aquarius. I'm just going to say, be careful to temper it with connecting with your subconscious, connecting it with heart energy, because it can run off with a life of its own. And do trust whatever's changing here at the end of the month. It's kind of exciting. Try not to resist it. And don't compare yourself to another at the beginning of the month. Don't let this be a barrier to what's going to cause you to have your heart filled, Aquarius.